All right, let's talk about something we've all felt at some point. Today, we're going to unlock the science behind that incredible feeling of being completely and utterly in the zone.
I mean, seriously, think about it. That moment when you're a musician and the notes just seem to pour out of you. Or you're a coder and the logic just clicks, line after line. Or maybe you're an athlete and every single move feels perfect. The rest of the world, it just fades away.
Well, that amazing state actually has a name. It's called flow. And as you can see here, this isn't just some vague, fuzzy feeling. No. It's a well-defined psychological state, a state of optimal cognitive control, where we not only feel our best, but we perform our best. And psychologists have actually broken this experience down into these core ingredients. Your actions feel almost automatic, like they're happening on their own. That little nagging inner critic in your head, it goes completely silent. And hours can literally feel like minutes. The whole thing is so enjoyable that the activity itself becomes the reward.
So, what is actually going on inside our heads when this magic takes over? Let's pop the hood and take a look at the neuroscience of your brain on autopilot.
So, a leading theory has a bit of a mouthful of a name: transient hypofrontality. But really, all it means is that the most analytical part of our brain, the prefrontal cortex, which is kind of like the brain's micromanager, it actually powers down for a bit. It takes a step back and lets our deeply practiced skills run the show completely on autopilot. And what's so fascinating about this is that flow isn't about your brain working harder, it's actually about it working smarter. It literally shifts gears from that slow, deliberate, energy-guzzling system to a fast, efficient, and totally automatic one. And this idea of neural efficiency isn't just a theory, it's backed up by some really cool recent research. A 2023 study found that when people were doing calligraphy, those who reported being in a higher state of flow actually showed less brain activity in key attention networks. So yeah, in this case, less is absolutely more. The brain just becomes incredibly efficient. Right, but why does this efficiency feel so good, so effortless? Well, to understand that, we need to look at an even deeper theory: the idea that our brain is playing a constant, high-stakes prediction game. There's this really powerful model in neuroscience called the free energy principle. And it suggests that our brain isn't just passively reacting to the world around us. Oh no, it's a full-on prediction engine, constantly making its best guess about what's going to happen next. Now, every time reality doesn't quite line up with what the brain predicted, it creates a prediction error, or what we can just call surprise. And resolving that surprise requires a ton of conscious, energy-intensive effort to update the brain's model of how the world works. So here's the crucial part. Flow is what it feels like when the brain's predictions are just nailing it, one after another. Your brain predicts exactly what it will feel like to hit that tennis ball or play that chord, and reality matches up perfectly. There's no surprise left to process, so that conscious, effortful part of the brain can just switch off. This all sounds fantastic, right? But the big question is, how do we get more of it? How can we actually engineer the conditions for flow in our own daily lives? Well, decades of research have consistently shown that flow isn't random. It really depends on these three core external conditions being in place. You have to know exactly what you're trying to do, you need to get instant feedback on how you're doing, and you have to be engaged in a task that stretches you just right. And that third point, that's the real key. It's all about finding this perfect sweet spot, often called the flow channel. If a task is way too hard for your current skill level, you're going to feel anxious. If it's too easy, you'll be bored out of your mind. Flow lives right there, on that razor's edge where challenge and skill are in perfect balance. But even if you get the perfect setup, you have clear goals, great feedback, the ideal challenge, there is one massive obstacle in our modern world that is constantly pulling us out of the state. 23 minutes. That's how long studies show it takes, on average, to get back into a state of deep work after just one interruption. A single text message, a quick question from a colleague, each one completely resets the clock, which makes having a protected, focused environment absolutely essential for flow. Now, it's pretty obvious that flow is a superpower for getting things done, for being productive. But the benefits don't stop there. They go much, much deeper than that. Remember that term, autotelic? It means the goal is in the self. The experience is so enjoyable, thanks to a nice cocktail of neurochemicals like dopamine, that we do it just for its own sake. This intrinsic reward is what fuels our motivation and drives us to master skills over the long term. And the data completely backs this up. Major reviews of flow research connect the state directly to a huge range of positive outcomes: better well-being and health, of course, peak performance and mastering a skill, and just increased motivation to stick with challenges. And this is where it gets truly profound. Researchers are now exploring if flow states can actually be used therapeutically. The idea is that for conditions like PTSD, the brain's prediction model is kind of stuck on threat. A flow state might help reset that model by forcing the brain to make successful, non-threatening predictions, which just highlights this powerful link between flow and our overall mental health. So that leaves us with a final question for you to think about. Now that you understand the science, take a look at your own life. Your work, your hobbies, your learning. Where could you carve out a space, set a clearer goal, or maybe dial up the challenge just enough to unlock this powerful state for yourself?